Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, as you can see, I'm running a little late. I'm working on two other videos. I'm working on a staying clean video and another political video. And I wasn't going to I was going to wait to do my usual video till about 9 or so. And so I was in the middle of my workout. And I was kind of researching. I was going over some of the stuff from the Trump rally in Wyoming to see if I missed anything. I was kind of researching it as I was working out, and I came across an article from this one media outlet, the Y file, Y as in Wyoming, I think it's WYO file. Obviously, it's a Wyoming outlet, and I looked it up, and Wyoming was, I think, had the highest percentage of Trump viewers, of Trump voters of any state. 69 point something voted for Trump. And I don't know how to describe my feelings as I was looking through this. I couldn't think of two people more different than Donald Trump and your average, what I perceive as your average Wyomingite. I think that's what a person from Wyoming is called, a Wyomingite. And as I read, I encourage you guys to read this article, and it didn't, a lot of times Trump stuff scares me. It angers me, frightens me, anxiety. And I've said this so many times when I talk about Trump and Trump rallies and Trump supporters, I don't get it. And as I read this, I discovered it's not. You would think that, being left and right, it would be a matter of, topics. We would differ in our, in the different points that are important to people on the left and people on the right. And that's not it. That's not it at all. It's really a difference in perception of what reality is. And this is, again, for the life of me, I don't get this. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. This article opens up, and it has two average Wyomingites, guys in their 60s, 70s, Caucasian, the cowboy hat. I don't know where. I guess that's what you call it. I'm from Connecticut. I don't even know what it's officially called, a cowboy hat or whatever. And the button-down shirt, jeans, the belt buckle and all that. And they're being interviewed, and almost everything they say, it's just, it's a difference in perception of what reality actually is. These two guys, it starts off talking about how. They talk about the typical New Yorker, how, in New York, and I don't know if these guys have actually ever even been to New York, but they say how in New York, people bump against each other and not even say hello. And that's not how we do it in Wyoming. That's how the article starts off. And then they go on to say, well, Donald Trump's not like that. He's one of us. He's for the people. And as I read this, I am dumbfounded. This is one of the biggest differences in perception. This is one of the biggest things that make me a never Trumper. What I see in him is somebody that is totally absorbed into himself. So it's funny that they brought up this, New Yorkers bumping into each other, because what came to mind was, what was that NATO meeting about, it was probably in 2000, I'll try to find links to down below. I'm sure you guys all remember it, where Donald Trump was in Europe. I can't remember exactly where, but camera angles changed, and Trump pushed his way past the other heads of state, pushed them out of the way, stepped up to the front of the cameras, adjusted his tie. And I don't think there was never, that was one of the times I was the most embarrassed and ashamed to call myself an American, to share the same country with this man that people had elected my president. And it's just, it popped into my mind. It's so ironic that these two Wyomingites are talking about how people bump into each other and don't even say hi or excuse me in New York. And one of the most disgusting things I ever saw Trump do was exactly that. And then they go on to say, well, he's not like that. He's for the people. And again, I don't know how many times I've said this, but I just see an arrogant narcissist. Everything he's talked about, it's been 2 years now. And, it's still just about how he was wronged. I never hear him talk anything about, he always says he'll do a better job, but there's no specifics. There's no talking points on specific, points, different things that we the country disagrees on. It always comes back to him being wrong, rigged, stolen. It's it is all about him and the people around him. I have never seen somebody so self-absorbed in all my life. And I hear these Wyomingites talking about how he's for the people. And it is just the complete opposite of what I see. We're not talking about gun control or, Roe or, I don't know, even stuff they teach in schools. We're just talking about the biggest difference between me and other liberals or Democrats and Wyomingites or Trumpers is our perception of reality. And it gets worse from there. I think he was there to talk, to promote Harriet Hagerman, I think, and I'm not sure, you have to excuse me, I'm not sure if I got ready for this video fast, but he was there to promote Harriet Hagerman, and some of the stuff she said was just amazing. She said how Democrats were wrong on COVID-19 and the 2020 election, and that is not the reality I see. I remember Donald Trump saying this is going to go away. We're going to be down to 0 cases. I remember him continually underestimating him and underestimating everything. And it's not just Democrats. It's the entire, pretty much the rest of the world versus what these people that support Donald Trump see. And then the 2020 election. All these people in Wyoming, with all their heart, they believe that it was rigged, it was stolen from Donald Trump. And this is what amazes me. We don't differ on, political stuff like usual, like conservative versus progressive or liberal. It's perceptions of reality. And honestly, I blame this all on Trump and his ability to twist the truth. How these people just don't agree with reality. She said something else. Harriet Hagerman. She talked about Democrats and I can't remember the other thing she said. She blamed it all on Democrats, and I don't know. There was a few other things, but I'm just amazed. I'm amazed. And there's a good chance that Donald Trump's going to be running again. And I don't understand how these two different, how it scares me in a way that it almost looks like, seriously, it looks like these people have been brainwashed, or I don't understand how they could ignore a good portion of reality. And I'm sure they say the same thing about me. So I'm trying to, it amazes me how we've gotten to this point. Also, their whole thing with the media and social media and the news. This was like number 2 on Wyomingites, their whole grievances. It was the election, COVID, and media, social media. And the whole reason is because they feel that their opinion can't be voiced, and this is their opinion. Their false view of reality. I'm not going to go over everything, but the 2020 election, we've all looked at it, and it was not rigged. It doesn't even really make sense that thousands of people did this and rigged this, and there's the evidence. The only people that have been caught or arrested are people that were voting twice for Donald Trump, and they considered this their opinion, like as also with COVID or vaccines. And they're all upset because the news doesn't show their opinion. They call it an opinion, but how long can you call something an opinion when it's been disproven over and over and over? It becomes a fallacy after a while, and that's why social media and the news don't talk about it because it's not an opinion after years and going over it again and again. It's a fallacy. It's a lie. That's why, and they feel like they're being wronged again. And it's like they're living in this non-reality bubble, and it's not even about your basic talking points going back like into the 80s or 90s. What the things the right were for, the things we're left for. This is a whole, this has nothing to do with a lot of that stuff. It's just about reality, the way this group sees reality, and the way reality really is. It's scary, and there's a good chance he's going to be running again. So tell me this: if he runs again and he does lose, if I was in his position and I thought the election was stolen from me, I wouldn't even babble about it. I would just say, well, let the next election do the talking, and see, let the people talk. That's how I would handle it. I wouldn't keep crying about rigged elections over and over again. So say he does run again, and say he loses. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? That's what that scares the bejesus out of me. All right. You guys have a good Tuesday.